Hey guys, this is Vishal and I have brought you episode 7 of the Forgotten Flutter show. So in the previous episodes, I have discussed about various widgets that we can use in Flutter to build our applications like columns, rows, containers, etc. In the previous episodes, that is episode 6, we have discussed two core concepts of the Dart programming language, that is variables and functions. So in this episode, we are going to use all the knowledge that we have gained so far in the previous episodes and we are going to build this dice application. What this application is going to do is you click on any one of the dice and it is going to change the numbers on both the dice faces. Just like that. So next time you lose a dice while playing a board game, you know what to do. You just pull out your laptop and you build your own dice application within minutes. Let's get started. So here I am back in Android Studio and I have just created a new Flutter project, that is this counter application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import the dice images in our Flutter project. So how do we import images into our Flutter project? I have already did a video on how to import images into your Flutter application. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can watch it right now from the top right hand corner of your screen. Anyways, let's import these images into our Flutter project. For that, I'm going to right click our root directory, go to new directory, name it as images. Then I'm going to select all these images and drag it to the images folder and refactor it. Our task is not done yet. We'll go to pubspec.yaml, go down all the way till this point, and I'm going to uncomment this using control plus forward slash on Windows and command plus forward slash on Mac devices. Then I have this folder images and I want everything from the images, so it's images slash start, and I'm going to I'm sorry, it's not star, it's just images with a forward slash. That means it is going to include all the images within the folder, and I'm going to run pubget. Okay, so now we can use the images in our Flutter project. We have successfully imported them. So coming back to our main.dart file, I'm going to keep the material library. We have the main function, we have run app, and inside the run app we are calling a myapp class, which is this particular class. And here instead of Flutter demo, I'm going to give the title dice app. Rest everything remains the same. I think we don't even need the theme data, but fine. I'm going to just remove this altogether. And now this can be a constant. Next, I don't need this my home page. So here's a small question for you. We are going to design an application where the dice is going to change the numbers on its face every time we click on it. So what kind of class, stateless or stateful, is suitable for this kind of purpose? Pause this video, think on it, and then continue to this video. If you thought about using stateful widgets, you are 100% right. If you didn't, you should go back and watch the stateless versus stateful widgets video that I did a few days ago. So let's create a stateful widget using the stfull command and hit enter. That creates a new stateful widget. Let's name it as dice app. Then instead of home, I'm going to use dice app. Next, we need a yellowish background. That's actually amber. So first thing I'm going to do is replace this container with a scaffold, and the background color is going to be colors.amber. Reload this, and we have this nice background. Another quick question. We want two dice, one after the other, arranged horizontally. So what kind of widget are we going to use over here? Is it column or is it row? Yes, it's row. So we are going to use a row widget to have our dice one after the other in a horizontal manner. So a row is going to have children, which is a list of widgets. So in the row, I'm going to use image.dice asset. That's because we have our images in the images folder in our project. So it's an asset image, not a network image. That is, we are not getting it from online sources. And the name of the asset is going to be images slash dice1.png. That's the first image right here, this one. Let's hit reload, and then we have a problem here. You can see this yellow and black bars on the right hand side of the screen. That's because the image is too big for our screen. It is overflowing outside the phone boundary. That's not good. And also we don't have space for another dice now. So this particular thing is called an overflow. It happens whenever our widgets go outside the boundaries of our screen. So there are two ways to fix this. One, you provide a size to this particular image, a fixed size, that is height and width. And the second thing that you can do is use an expanded vision. So let's see what we should use over here. If we give it a particular height and width explicitly, it is not going to work on all kinds of devices. So let's say we have a device with a bigger screen. In that case, our dice are going to look too small for it. In the second case, if we get a even smaller screen, it is again going to overflow from right hand side. The best option to use here is the expanded widget because it is going to automatically resize the image to the available screen space. So I'm going to select this, use Alt plus Enter to bring up this context menu, tap this with the widget, and that is going to be expanded. Let's reload this, and now you can see that the expanded widget has fit the image to the screen width. Similarly, I'm going to add one more dice just below it. So now you can see that the expanded widget has divided the screen equally for both of them. Moving back to this expanded widget, let's say I want the first dice to be 2 times bigger than the second one. I will use the flex property of expanded and give it 2, that is 2 times the size of this one, and reload it, and now you can see that it is 2 times bigger than the second one. That's how the expanded widget is going to work. I will just remove it. Second thing I want is I want this dice to be in the center of the screen. So again, I'm going to hit Alt Enter on the row, and I'm going to wrap it with center widget, reload it, and now they are in center. Another thing I want to do is I don't want things to go inside the UI part of our phone, that is the notification panel or the rounded corners. So I'm going to wrap the center widget with another widget, that is safe area. So with that done, let's see how we can change these images into buttons so that we can click on them and make them change their faces. Here in the expanded, we have the image and we want to make these as buttons. So I will wrap the image widget with another widget called a text button. The text button needs a property that is on pressed. You can see it is required, and this property is going to handle all the on-click events. And as you must have remembered from the previous episode, we talked about the anonymous functions and how we use them in the on-pressed methods of the text buttons. So this is an anonymous function. It has a function body, but it doesn't have a name. So it's an anonymous function. Let's reload this, and now you can see that we can tap on this. You can see a slight ripple going here. I will just log a statement. So there are two types of log over here. There is one that comes from Dart math, and this function calculates the arithmetic logarithm, and the second one is from Dart developer, which is going to log certain messages or events to our console. So I'm going to use the one from Dart developer, and right over here, that's the left dice clicked. Similarly, I'm going to do for the second dice. Okay, reload this application and I will show you the run window. So when I click on the right dice, you can see it says right dice is clicked. I click on left, it says left dice is clicked. Right, left, right, left. You can clearly see it over here. So we just made our images into buttons that can sense clicks and do something. Next, we are going to see how do we change these images to show different numbers on their faces. For that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside the build function right here at the top, and I'm going to declare a variable with var and name it left dice face, and let's say its initial face would be 4, and then I will have another variable that is right dice face, and let's say it has initial value 6. Okay, so as you can see, these are going to be integers and they are always going to be integers. Let's fix their data types to integers. So I will use int instead of var in both places. And coming back to our image.asset widget, we are going to replace this one with dollar left dice face. What this does is, this is a string, and when the compiler sees a dollar sign in the string, it is going to find the variable that follows the dollar sign and it is going to plug that value over here. So in this case, it is going to see the left dice face, that is 4, and the final string that is going to be supplied to the image.asset is going to be images/dice4.png. Similarly, over here I'm going to do dollar right is face. Let's reload this application, and now you see that the left dice is 4, right dice is 6. If I change the values over here, let's say I want this to be 3 and reload this, it is going to show you 3 over here. This is going to work only if all the images have similar names like dice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. In that way, you can just replace the number and it is going to call one of these images over here. Okay. So what we are going to do next is we are going to randomly change these dice faces. So I'm going to import another function that is Dart math. Generally, you don't have to do this because Android Studio will do it for you whenever you create a random function as dev. Why I'm doing this is because Dart math and Dart developer both has the log function, and the Dart compiler is kind of confused that what kind of log are we trying to use here. Is it the mathematical or is it the Dart developer one? So when I do this Dart developer as dev, what I can do is I can come over here and use dev.log and the error will be gone. So now it knows that it is from the developer package, right? So let's start generating random values. So to do that, I'm going to create a new random variable over here that is of type random, and that is equal to a random. Next, I'm going to do left dice face, and that is going to have random. So the random object has a method that is nextInt, and let's see what the documentation says. It says generates a non-negative random integer uniformly distributed in the range from 0 inclusive to max exclusive. What this means is it is going to start from 0, go all the way to the maximum number, but it is never going to return the maximum number. It will be always be less than whatever the maximum is. So let's say I have 10 over here. I have 10. It is going to have numbers from 0 to 9. If I have 8, it is going to return numbers from 0 to 7 and so on. So what are the valid numbers for a dice? It is 1 to 6. but it is anyways going to give us a 0. So let's say we get a 0 from this. So 0 is not a valid dice number. So what do we do in this case? We can add 1 to the result. So 0 plus 1 will now be 1, and then we have a valid dice number. So let's have this to be 6. Why 6? Because when we put 6 over here, it is going to have numbers between 0 to 5. So if we add 0 plus 1, it is going to be 1. If we add 5 plus 1, it is going to be 6. So this thing is going to cover all the numbers that we are going to get on our dice. So it's random.nextInt 6 plus 1. That's it. However, this is still not going to work. Let's reload this and see this. So I clicked on this and nothing works. It says left dice is clicked, but you clearly cannot see the face changing. What is missing over here is a call to the set state. So I'm going to call set state over here, and inside that I'm going to change the variable left dice face. And now if we reload, we can see that our dice face is changing. That is what we wanted. So as a challenge, what you are going to do is you are going to make the right hand side dice to change its values randomly. Pause this video, try it, and then continue to this video. Okay, so what you need to do is you just need to copy this over here, and instead of left dice face, you are going to use right dice face, and that does your job. Just like that. Another challenge for you. If you see, we need to click on the individual dice to update them. I want you to make this application such that you click on any one dice and the other dice also changes the face along with the dice that was clicked. So if you click on right hand side, the left dice should also change its face, and vice versa, as we have seen in the start of this video. So again, you can pause this video, try it, and then come back for the solution. Okay, so the solution to this question was just copy this thing, paste it over here, then copy this thing and paste it over here. So now click any of the dice, you are going to change the value for left dice face, you are going to change right dice face. So let's reload this and see it in action. So I am clicking on the left dice and it is also changing the face of the right hand side. If I click on the right hand side, it is going to change on the left hand side as well. That is what we wanted. But now if you see here, we have repetition of code over here. It is the exact same code that is repeated twice, and repetition is bad in programs. And what do we do to our repetitions? We use functions. So what we are going to do is, I will go all the way down over here. I will just collapse the build function. So just after the build function, I'm going to write a void change dice face function. So this is a void function, and inside that I'm going to copy this thing and paste it over here. Next, I'm going to replace all this thing with change dice face, and same thing I'm going to do over here. Reload this and it still works just fine. However, instead of doing this, we can shorten it even more. So instead of having a anonymous function call a change dice function in it, we can remove the anonymous function altogether. And since this onPressed method requires a void function and our change dice face is also a void function, we can just write change dice face without the round brackets, and this is still going to work just fine. We don't need the Dart developer module, and it's working like how we expected. So you have successfully built your dice application within a few minutes. That was too easy, wasn't it? So that was all about this episode. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to the Forgotten Programmer so you don't miss any future videos from us. Thanks for watching and keep coding.